TV.
We're going to kick off with not like a really small name in the industry. I know for the first time that I saw Machinarium, I was actually blown away. It was like one of the most freshest games that I ever played. And also the design was really playful, like handcrafted. It was like, yeah, it really blew me away. The studio is called Amanita Design. And two of the artists they will talk about their latest game called Creaks. And the names of the artists are Jan and Radim. And I wish you a really nice night and see you in the chat. And please ask us everything because I'm happy to share that questions with our artists tonight. Okay, enjoy the evening and see you in a bit.
TV.
Hello, my name is Radim Jurda, and I am a lead designer and artist of a game called Creaks. I am from Amanita Design, and this is the newest game from our studio, and it was released this summer. And in this talk, me and my friend and colleague Chlup will show you and tell you how the game was created. And we will do it in a way that I will start the talk, then we will go to Honza, he will talk a little bit more, then back to me for a while, and then back to Honza, and he will finish the talk. Okay, so let's go for it. Okay, and I'm already screening. So in the beginning, I would like to tell that Creaks is actually the first game me and Honza were working on, but it's not the first game by Amanita Design, because the studio is here for already like 15 years, and it's releasing approximately one game per year now, and it's possible because there are actually 4 independent teams in our studio, and each of the team is working on their own project, and so that's why we are somehow able to publish the games like once per year. But the development of the games usually takes much longer. I think the shortest game from our studio was Pilgrims, that it took 2 years, and I think the longest game was actually Creaks, that it actually from the first idea it took us almost 8 years. And yeah, and actually I forgot that like we are the new team that was created for working on this game. And in the beginning, I would play you the trailer for the game to a little bit show you where we are now, and then we will go back many years, and I will talk about how the project started, like to show you the first sketches, first ideas, and then we will continue to the recent form of the game. So this was the trailer, and now we are going back in time for the first sketches, and actually, I would like to tell you about the theme of the game and how the idea started. And it started this 8 years ago when I was at my university. I was studying Academy of Arts, Architecture and Design in Prague, and I was studying animation studio there. And when the time came for me to do my diploma project, I decided to make a computer game because I was interested in games, and it's a nice combination of animation, movies, and games. So I decided to do a video game, and I was looking for the idea for the game. And in the time, I was interested in the idea that uh, if we see just something partly, or if we know something partly, just we don't have the full picture of some information, our brain starts to add his own things and creating actually a new reality for us that we are living in. And so this is a little bit abstract concept. And then I was trying to find a visual way how to present this concept. And I was thinking about if somebody is lost in a fog and he sees just some blurry stuff, but when he comes closer to things, he sees it clearly. Or if you see just like a part of the picture, very, very small detail, you can imagine it's something completely different than if you see the full picture. And also, I was thinking about the situation when you are in a dark room and maybe you see some strange silhouette in a corner, and it can remind you some monster or some strange figure just staring at you from the dark. But if you turn the light on, this thing, you see it's not a monster. It's just it can be just like a stand coat with some clothes on it, just some harmless piece of furniture. And this idea, uh, it's something like a children's imagination, and we like the idea, and I think it has potential to create interesting story, interesting mood and atmosphere, and also it had potential to do interesting game mechanics. So uh, we actually decided to build the game on this idea, and we had there this kind of creatures I was talking about. Uh, this is the first sketch of our dog creature. So you have a dangerous dog in the darkness, but like harmless night table in the light. And in our game, we have a bunch of these creatures, and each of them has different behavior. And we are building the puzzles on these creatures, and also the story is like created around these guys. At the school, I was also start to think how the story of the game will be, and it was quite uh, again abstract in this moment. I just decided that it would be really nice as we are also having these creatures that they have like two forms, so the story can have more meanings. And it's quite simple story, but I like the idea that you can understand it that the hero really actually enters some strange fantasy world and exploring it, but at the same time I like it as a metaphor for his subconscious. So he's like it's a little bit also like introspective journey of our hero. So maybe it's happening in his head. We don't know. At school, I was also starting to do like free sketches to help me to find the settings for the game, and this is the first of the sketches that capture the game world, and I like it. It's actually it's in the final game is different, but a lot of things from this early rough sketch are presented in a game. So we have there these crystals, the cave, the hero has the clothes that we are having now in the game, and so on. I was doing more of these like free sketches, really like just to find the mood of the game and just like to help me find what I actually want to do. So in this sketch, we see the concept of the game, that we see the hero like sleeping peacefully in a bed and the strange creatures reaching to him in the darkness. Here we see our hero meeting some NPC character and a little bit of environment. In this picture, I was trying to decide if I would like to do. Okay, I knew that we will have there these furniture creatures, so the game will take place in interiors. But in this picture, I was trying to find out if it will be actually the full underground city or just like underground house. So, because I also like these atmosphere and moods of the empty libraries and empty public swimming pools and so on. But in the end, we decided to go for the house version because it's actually a little bit simpler maybe, and also a little bit maybe more intimate. So in the end, we decided to go for this. And also then I was trying to find out how the architecture will look like. So here I have some castle style, some like a hunting castle. Here I have ideas for cubistic and functionalistic interiors, which I think it's quite interesting and not very much seen in the games. And on this sketch, I like this sketch very much, and I think it kind of really captured the mood of the game and actually already had all the elements that are important for us in the game. So it has this strange bird character, the lights, flower, paintings on the wall, monsters, cave in the background, and so on. Okay, and at the same time, because I was studying animation studio, I was thinking how the animation of the game would look like. So I just would like to show you a few basic tests. This one is made with aquarelle. I actually like it a lot, but in the end we went for the cutout animation. I will tell you later why. It's a bit crazy test when I was trying to do it from the wood, the character. So the sprites were done from the wood. I like the light on the character, that it's from front, from top, from back. But in the end, we do it in this cutout animation that we will get to it later. Okay, and at school I was also just doing first ideas for the puzzles for the game. When I look at them now for the designs, they are not very good, but I think the potential was already there. And with my friend Honza, that he will talk a little bit later, we also created first prototypes of the game. So I will just quickly show you two of them. So this is completely the first prototype of Creaks. So this is how the game looked in the beginning. This is our first object that is turning, shape-shifting object, which is this bowling ball in the dark and the balloon in the light, so it can fly or fall. And in this phase, the hero had a flashlight all the time, but in the end we find out that if he will have it, it will be just very chaotic, and he will be too powerful, like he can flash on any monster anytime. So in the end we decided that he will not have it. In the end of the game, he had something different that will help him, but most of the game he's just like without any weapon in this world. Okay, and here is another prototype. This one is a little bit more advanced. That is really difficult to control it. We also had here this animated devs that I like. So this one looked like this. Woo. All right. Okay, and when I finished this project, it was actually I was presenting the concept for this game. So I had some visual ideas, some animations, and also this is the trailer that I created to present the game. So I can play it for you. And you also saw two informations. One that the original name was Blick, but before we managed to finish the game, another game called Blick appeared on Steam, so we had to change the name for Creaks. And the second one was that it actually we were thinking to release it 2015, and so we got it done a little bit later. Okay, and now. So this thing, and also I had some animation, like fake animation of a gameplay. I was presenting it as my diploma. So this is what I had. And also during the creation of this part of the game, of the concept, I was going for a beer with Jakub Dvorsky from Amanita Design, the founder of Amanita Design, a few times to show him the game. And so we were discussing it. And in the end, he started to like it a lot. And so after we finished the school, he decided to support us and somehow take us under the wings of Amanita Design and help us create the team so we can work on it. So he helped us to find programmer and animator and so on. And so when we joined Amanita, the pre-production phase began. And we were trying to find the really specific story for the game, specific design, specific visual style, so to finalize everything so we can start the production. And in this phase, we did several things. One of them is very, very huge 1,000 pictures long storyboard that we made, because our game is actually told without any words. It's really like without any dialogue. Everything is told through animations and pictures and expressions. So we prepared this long detailed storyboard. I will show you how it looks. It looked like this. So it's actually really kind of like a very simple animation. And we were showing it to our friends and to see if they understand the story, like even without any text. So, and it was also very nice because the development was then quite long. So it was really nice, like a guide for us, because the new idea was appearing. So it helped us to keep us on the track. Like actually almost everything from this storyboard we are having there in the game, a little bit altered, but it's there. All right, and from the storyboard, we find out that we would like to divide the world of Creaks into several districts, and each of the districts would house one of the non-playable characters, and also will introduce new environment and a new creature that is in this district. And to find out how they will look, I did series of these digital drawings. When I use some puzzle that we in this moment we still have just on a paper, I just somehow put it together, and I was trying to find some visual motifs that I can repeat in these worlds, that, as we call them. So to have it to give each of the worlds some distinct visual feel. So this is attic, and it's really brownish, has a lot of creaking wood and a lot of tools, and it's like if you would visit your grandparents' attic. It should have this mood. This one we call towers, and this one was inspired by the Gothic architecture and has some spiritual themes and space themes. It's full of libraries, and our librarian is living in this world. This is the third example I'm having here. This is the world for another character, and this one was inspired by the cubistic architecture and morphology. So it has different shapes, different moods, and for example, this wardrobe was inspired by the Czech architect Josef Gočár. So I was also like trying to find inspiration in the real interiors and on the real buildings. Okay, and as I told you, we decided to have there these NPC characters in our story. So it was time to design them. And in the beginning, it was really wild. We were trying everything. So you see some of the strangest creations here. Uh, Here I was trying to maybe to combine some animal parts together to create some creature. We decided like they would look a little bit like animals, because I wanted really the hero to be their only human, so he will feel there really alone somehow, and it will add, I think, also to this like introspective understanding of the story if he's there alone, only human in the story. In the end, we decided to go for these bird creatures, bird guys, avians. And when we decided these guys, I was trying different versions. We like these bird characters because somehow they are a little bit in the they are it's a little bit strange to have bird characters in the underground world, but in the end we decided it's actually interesting about them and is giving them interesting background. So here are some sketches of some of these guys. In this picture, you see some versions of one our character that we called Hunter, and this is how he looks in the game, in the final game. Um, in the end, we decided to go for the cutout animation because if we do it like really sprite animation frame by frame everything, it would be really a lot of work because as we found out, we will have a lot of cutscenes in the game as we created a storyboard. So we decided to go for this. So it will be a little bit simpler, but at the same time, it's much more like space drive economic, or it doesn't have many gigabytes because every animation is just like a text document with some information how to move these cutout pieces. We sometimes also combine it with some frame by frame pieces. For example, his hair is animated frame by frame, so it can go up and so on. Here you see the evolution of our hero from the first prototype to the final appearance in the game. You see that, for example, the clothes are staying the same, but some proportions are getting bigger. For example, his eye is starting like 1 pixel and growing wider until these very big eyes. Also, his hands are getting bigger. It helped us very much with this wordless storytelling, that his hands were bigger and head was bigger, so he can express himself more easily. In this picture, I have different. I was looking for how his face will look like, and I find out that if I'm just like drawing some faces from my head, it's usually a little bit boring. So then I started to stalk my friends and look at some old photos. So I was trying to draw according to them. So this is actually inspiration by Honza that he will talk a little bit later. This is our animator Pavel Pachta, that he did all the animations in our game. And this one is Lukáš Kunce, our PR and producer. In the end, Lukáš win the competition, and so he has his virtual version in the gaming world. This is how he looks, our hero now in the game. And at the same time, I was doing maybe the most important thing for the game. I was trying to find out the appearance and design for these creatures that we are having in our game. So I was just doing the notes, how they will behave in the light, in the dark. I was freely sketching how they can look. And here I have 3 of them. And actually each of these creatures have a really different behavior. So the dog is chasing the hero. This guy is mimicking his movements, and the jellyfish, she's kind of ignoring him. She's flying around, but when she catch him, she will kill him, as actually also the other guys. And at the same time, we decided to add another layer of the storytelling or of the world building to the game, and we decided to add these collectibles into the game, these strange paintings. And I would ask Honza to tell you a little bit more about these.
Thank you, Radim. Hello, I'm Honza. I worked on the paintings and graphics on a Creaks. If you play the Creaks, you know that the game is full of collectible paintings. These are some of the first paintings ever made for Creaks. We were trying to make portraits depicting the previous inhabitants of the house, but at the time we didn't even know what the inhabitants would look like. In the beginning, we weren't sure about the technique, so we were trying various art techniques. For example, watercolors, gouache, acrylic, or oil, as you can see here. We were trying to add various frames so it doesn't look just like an image, and it looks more like a painting that hangs on a wall. We have quickly realized that frames done in oil look the best, very lifelike, and so we decided to go with oil paintings, even though we weren't quite sure that it will go well with the rest of the game that is done in drawing. So actually, it wasn't the major reason. The major reason that we went with oil is that me and Radim, we wanted to see our favorite traditional art techniques, quote unquote, alive. And the video game is actually a great way to achieve it. So yeah, so we did it. And we actually thought that seeing an oil painting in a video game is quite unique. So like two motifs. We weren't quite satisfied with the sci-fi motifs that we started with, so we turned to the history of art. We were inspired mostly by the art of 18th and 19th century. So, but we were also inspired by children's illustration, animated shorts and movies, and we combine it all together. And so we knew quite early on that there will be this character that is quite chaotic, hot-headed, that likes to hunt and to collect stuff. And so I looked for a famous hunt scenes for an inspiration. So here you can see famous painters like Gainsborough or Velázquez, and you can see that some parts of their paintings are used in our game. And yes, you can see that our paintings are quite weird. Well, let's go on. Well, we refer to these paintings as a windows outside, and it is because the mansion is actually in the cave, and there is no sky, and almost every painting that appear in a game is outdoors. So there's a sky, there's a woods or some meadows and stuff like that. The motifs and details in the paintings, they do have rather implicit connection to the main storyline. For example, here you can see the tree with books, and you can see the tree in the books in the level. And these paintings show fragments and history of the mansion and its inhabitants, and it brings another layer of a complexity to the world of Creaks. These paintings, they exist in a series. So during the pre-production phase, we were coming with a lot of ideas for these paintings. Here you can see some of them, and you can also see some topics that we were trying to go with. Some musical topics, yeah, gardening, training animals, and so on. And a lot of them didn't make it into the game, and just a few of them made it into the game, such as Birdman among the people, strange musicians, unusual scientists, and so on. For example, heavy lifting didn't make it. Now we go to the production phase. And here you can see a painting as it looks in the game. And first, there is a sketch. And I do the sketch in a very quick manner just to save an idea. And later, I open the sketchbook and I take the sketch that is interesting and I adjust it. I do work on it. I think about it a bit more, changing stuff, changing composition, and well, then when the sketch is done, I do have to paint it, and this is me painting, doing just that, and this is the painting in an unfinished phase. And when the painting is finished, we have to take a photo of it. So this is my previous setup. We have to take a photo in a way that there is no reflection on the painting and so on. And I would actually recommend using softbox instead of using these two umbrellas. But yeah, then when the painting is captured, we put it into computer, and this is how it looks like. And then we perform quite a heavy post-production on it. And in the end, it looks like this: before, after, before, after. So yeah, and actually, in our game, there are two types of paintings. First type of painting is a static painting that that is kind of musical box. Originally, the paintings were completely static. It was just an image, and we were testing it on the people, and we find out that it doesn't work. It's not good enough. So we did a string that a player can pull, and it plays it plays the music. Yeah, and it still wasn't enough. So in the end, we decided to add some small animations into the paintings, so it moves, and it's something like a very short story, and it I guess it kind of works now. So now, and these are some of these small animations, and now we get to the interactive paintings. The interactive paintings, they remind some kind of antique automaton or some arcade style game, I don't know, from 18th century. And yeah, and first I do the sketch, and then I do a game design sketch, as you can see here. And then when the game design sketch is done, we actually do a prototype, and this is a prototype of one of the paintings. And when we test the prototype and we see that everything works as it should, we go and we do the same process. We start to paint these cutouts, because everything that moves has to have its separate part that we don't animate. And yes, for example, this covers for the painting, and this is a background. It's a background in an unfinished state. And yeah, some more assets. And this is how the interactive painting looks when it's finished. This is how it looks in the game. And here I prepared a short video where you can see how we create these interactive paintings from a sketch to the final state. And there's a final video that I'm going to show you in this segment, and it is me painting one of the interactive paintings. Okay, just if you're curious. And that will be all from me for now, and floor is yours, Radim.
Okay, thank you, Honza. And now I would like to show you how we actually created the final backgrounds for the puzzles, final scenes in our game. So usually the scene starts with some idea for a puzzle. I sketch it just on my sketchbook, and when I thought it's interesting, I did this very simple storyboard for it, where I already see if it's not somehow broken, if it kind of works, the puzzle. And so if it survived this stage of testing, then we created the first playable prototype in Unity that we were using for our game, and we tried it on players if everything's working just fine, and it was okay. then I was starting to work on the look of the level. And it was quite interesting because we already knew the shape of the level, but then it was somehow like a visual puzzle to find a nice environment and picture that will fit with this shape and also will be not maybe too overwhelming for the players. So they wouldn't be too much confused in everything what's there. So I did few ideas how it can look. And in this case, I like this one the most. And when once it was chosen, I print it on a paper. I move it on a light table on a paper. I draw it with the ink and watercolors, then scan it, and then we add some post-production and colors and some other techniques in the Photoshop, in the computer to have this final look of the scene. Here is one more example. This is how it looked in the prototype version. This is another version. This is some scans of my drawings, and this is how it looks in the game. Here I have just a few more pictures from this process. So this is some background I'm drawing. You can see it's quite large, some of these pictures. And this is a picture of a place in the light. We have there some places that you can turn the light on, and the graphics is changed. In the beginning, I was doing also these places extra, like with the extra pictures, and there are quite a lot in the game actually used. But later we moved for a little bit simpler version, and we just had one drawing, but a little bit adjusted in a different way. So we did a little bit simpler things up for us. And I did a lot of drawings like this. And I have to tell, it was really time consuming. Also, the whole process to draw it and scan it and put it back to the computer. And if you made some mistake, you have to do it again, and then adjust the drawings together. It was really quite difficult. And because we were already doing the characters in the computer, we decided maybe we can try it also to do the basic drawing of a background in a computer. And so we tried this, and this is actually the first level that we did in this technique. And it's actually a combination of a computer drawing and some textures that we printed and scanned. And yes, and it also helped us to maybe make more layers in the game because it was a bit easier. So it also adds some new possibilities we can do. And a little bit more about how we did it will tell you Honza, and then he will finish the talk. So this would be all for me. So Honza, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Radim. And as Radim mentioned, we've decided to do the backgrounds digitally. It brought multiple advantages, but it was also a huge time saver. Well, to achieve this, we created our own tools and methods. So here you can see a looped textures that imitates a water casted on an ink, and you can see the imitation of a brush and imitation of a pen tip. So with these tools, we create a drawing as we would if we do it on a paper. And then when the drawing is done, we start with the post-production. Our goal is to add a volume to shapes and to make it all go together nicely. We've actually established a few post-production rules during the development. It helps us to keep the visual style of the levels coherent. So just to mention a few of these rules. For example, the floor is always brighter than the walls, and the ceiling is always darker than the rest. And for example, the objects that are closer to the camera are darker than the objects that are further from the camera. So for each district, we have chosen a particular color palette. And in this case, this is a hunter's world. We chosen the shades of green because it reminds of woods and stuff like that. When you play the game, you can see that the game is full of animated objects. Each part of the object has to be animated separately, and therefore, it has to be drawn separately and completely created separately. So when we create objects like this, we then have to adjust them to fit into the background. So we have to add colors and other adjustment layers. So when we are ready with these objects, we have to export them and get them into the Unity, which is the engine that we are using. And to do this, we have created our own tools that help us with the workflow and whole process. So here you can see how many objects is necessary to make just one object in the game, to make just one animation in the game. And it's just a background animation, and there is really a lot of them. As already mentioned, we are using a cutout animation. So now the light plays an important role in the world of Creaks. As Radim has shown you, in the beginning, we did draw every light separately. But now we just make it brighter, and we add some yellowish colors and some fogs. Well, yeah, and actually, we managed to do a lot of things much more efficiently during the development, and this is a good example. So we have a layer that we call a front parallax, and this layer moves in a different speed compared to other layers. It is very dark, and it frames the level, and it actually helps to create a spatial illusion. And here you can see the layer of background and the layer of front parallax together. Well, each district in the game consists of multiple levels, and when you are playing the game, you can see from one level to another. So to make the world look seamless, we put all the levels into one huge file, and there we do additional adjustments. And we actually, from this file, we do export our tiles that we use in a game editor. And to do this, we have also created a special tool. And this is the tile in the level, and this is how the level looks when it's finished. Well, this was a bit technical stuff, but now let me tell you a bit about how we prepare the theme and architecture for the level. Radim has already talked a bit about it. Well, to create architecture and theme for the level is a puzzle in itself. It has to be interesting and funny, and at the same time, it shouldn't disturb the player too much. It should also fit the overall theme of the district. So in this level, you can see two coat hangers of an opposite sex, and we thought that it would be quite funny if they kiss in the end. So we tried to sketch the environment accordingly. So here you can see there's a bathroom and a bedroom. There is a marriage feast. And in the end, we decided to go with the jail because we thought that it would be quite interesting if these two characters break out of their cells. And this is how the level looks in the game. Well, now let me play you a short video how we made a level from the prototype to its final look. Okay. Well, I should also tell you that there is a wonderful music done by British musician Joe Escherson, aka Hidden Orchestra. The music is unique and it plays an important role in the puzzle solving because every time the player is closer to the solution, music changes and gives player a small hint that he is on the right track. The music is also heavily randomized and generative, so it will never sound exactly the same twice. And at the end of development, we struck a deal with Apple, and we've implemented a touch controls and optimized a game a bit. We worked with a company called Grip Digital to achieve this. They helped us to release the game on almost all of the most popular platforms today. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this talk, and we welcome your questions.
Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the presentation of Amanita Design. I'm here with Jan and Radim, and yeah, they saw the chat, and we saw like a lot of different questions. So we'll have 5 minutes for the Q&A. So we will try to squish as many of the questions as possible into it. But please don't be disappointed if we can't answer them all. But the first question I will just drop that came from the chat was, how many artists were involved actually in the whole production?
Well, it was just 2 of us. If you're talking about the artist, also animator and music guys, Joe Escherson and Matouš Godík.
So
it's all about the art.
Like a really small group, right?
Yes.
Working together for years and years, which was like leading to a really beautiful game. So thank you so much for this really insightful presentation.
Thanks.
Yeah, are there any games that you were inspired by before you made this game?
Okay. You can, Honza, you can start.
Okay. We both of us, we like game like Another World, or it's Out of This World in America, I guess, and also Apes Odyssey and Braid and stuff like this. That's what about inspiration.
Yeah. In this game, sorry.
Yeah, Radim, yes.
In this game, as Honza mentioned, like for me, it was really like Another World and Braid. Somehow I like it that it was also done with quite small team, and somehow I could feel the creator behind it, and somehow this was quite inspirational for me. So, like for example, with Braid, I just take my notebook and wrote down like games can be personal, and so this one I like a lot. Also, there are very nice puzzles, so this was a big inspiration, and I like very much the mood of the Another World and the atmosphere.
Yeah, regarding the puzzles, there was also like this question: do you think of those puzzles all by yourself? Are you developing them yourself, or is there like this puzzle database, or how does it work to embed them so nicely in the game?
Yeah, I did like most of the puzzles in the game. Like some were did by our colleagues, but yeah, it was kind of also like a new thing for me. I was also like on the run, like trying to find out how to do them. And I was also like searching for maybe there would be some book that can guide me, but I didn't find it. But somehow I find some ways to do it. And if you have some element in the puzzle and use it maybe more times, it's nice. Or yeah, I had some ideas how to do it, and in the end, I found out that it's also a very nice thing to maybe just sketch some solution of the puzzle that can be interesting. Maybe some characters can jump in a funny way, or can do bodyguards for the hero or something like this, and then try to find a way to tangle everything together to work. So yeah, and then we were just trying it on our friends and on our colleagues, and if it works. So this was kind of the way.
Hey, and how does it work? Is gameplay first, or is it design first, or are you focusing like on visualizing the story and then you're going to add all those little gameplay elements in it, or what's your process in that?
Okay, I think for us, like we had this idea in the beginning, like with these shape-shifting monsters, and I like it that I like the idea that it's connected also to the mechanics and also to the visuals, and so I wanted to keep it on the mechanics first, but for all of the Amanita games, the visual style is also very important, and it's kind of like developing at the same time, I think.
All right. Hey, and how does it work at Amanita Design? I understood that there are 4 groups. Are they developing like all different games, or is it like separated or combined, or can you tell us a little bit how it works over there?
Well, each group develops its own game, and sometimes when the game is being finished, some people from other teams came and join and help to finish the game. Sometimes when there's a time pressure or stuff like that.
Hey, And the final question, because there is like 30 seconds left around that, is like, was it difficult to get into the game industry and to sell your game in that sense? Did you put a lot of effort in it? I understood, of course, of your story that you met Jan in a cafe, but is it difficult in general?
I think we had really big luck, but also we were determined to finish the game, and we also actually managed to publish one board game at the university. So we already had something in our portfolio, so we can show that we are able to finish some project. So it helped us to join Amanita.
All right. Hey, Jan, Radim, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Amanita Design.
Thank you.